Norco is a game with an incredible story, a fascinating world, and some genuinely unforgettable moments. But there's a problem. Actually playing it isn't particularly fun. Is Norco an underrated point-and-click adventure, or is it really just an interactive novel hiding inside a video game? Hello and welcome back to Critical Arcade, the weekly video game book club where the list decides what we play. I'm Nick.
And I'm Dave.
And this week, the list told us to play Norco, a game I've never heard of before we got to play for this week. Have you ever heard of this?
No, Norco, not so much. Big fan of point-and-click adventures, generally speaking, because I think you and I both go back to the Monkey Island and Day of the Tentacle and Beneath the Steel Sky. So I'd not heard of this. I think, like most people, I probably scrolled through it on Steam and said, "Ooh, that looks okay," and then scrolled to the next thing. Because it is quite popular. It's quite a popular game in regards to a point-and-click adventure.
I think I saw one screenshot of Santa Claus standing on the street.
That's right. That
is the only recollection I have of this game entirely.
That's a random image because kind of like a memorable Santa Claus when you play the game, by all accounts. But I kind of get it. The Santa Claus, the dystopian landscape, and just the whole feel of the game. I said could be actually put in that photo. So yeah, it was released in 2022. By a development company called Geography of Robots, which is a great name, I thought.
It is.
Based in Louisiana.
And it's published.
Should we jump straight?
Before we do, I want to talk about the publisher real quick.
Who was it? Did I
miss
something juicy? Okay.
Do you recognize this publisher?
No. Should I? I know, I always do this.
You should, because we've reviewed one of their games before.
Ooh, is it a point-and-click adventure as well?
No, but you could maybe turn it into a point and click.
No, I'm not even close to being there. What was the other game they did that we've done
Blueprints?
Oh, no way!
Yes,
that's crazy.
Raw Fury published Blueprints,
which was a game nomination for Game of the Year last year, was it? Blueprints.
Yes.
That's cool. Did not know that. Strangely enough,
yeah, one of the genres with the worst name ever created, a Metroidvania.
Oh my word! That did hurt.
That sucks.
Me. That hurt me when you said that. Oh my word!
That sucks. This one isn't that. This is straight point and click.
Which is such an old school gameplay nowadays. I wonder how many people actually pick that up anymore. But anyway, I digress. Should we jump into the narrative then? So, like the big thing on point-and-click adventures fundamentally is the narrative, the crux of the matter, the thing that keeps you going through it.
You point, you click, and then story happens.
And you read.
Ooh, do you read?
Yeah, right. The point and clicks. They were back in the day. They weren't easy listening. You had to read everything, and to the same extent in this game. And the narrative is kind of cool. You play Kay, a young woman returning. It's kind.
Okay.
You play as Kay, a young woman, heading back home because her mother Catherine died. You then find out your brother is missing, and mysterious things are left behind from your mother, who's also kind of disappeared, right? And you follow clues, and there's a. I don't want to these one of those things when you do narratives of these games. I don't want to give up any of the plot twists.
Yes.
Because if you know the plot twists, you're not really picking up the game for anything else. You're
no,
not
of course not. That's like convincing yourself. Oh, one day you'll read the book after you've watched the movie. Yes,
that's exactly right. That's exactly what it is. No one's reading the book. That's true. And it plays with like a ton of emotion, be it the loss and religion. Like there is a lot of deep, religious cultists, detectives, AI, people ironically, the more we play dystopian, futuristic games, the more it slowly feels like it's real life and slowly just around the corner.
Yeah, like the dystopia is just turning into reality.
Yes, I swear that feels like the thing nowadays, which is not good, because this game itself, the story of this game, is not entirely exaggerated. It is set in a place in Louisiana called Norco, which is surrounded by a massive Shell oil refinery, which this game's one of the landscape is fundamentally the same, and is also kind of built in this big like valley where it all depends on the processing of oil for the town to survive.
Yeah.
And it's so weird
it's very real. This feels the type of sci-fi, industrial sci-fi that could actually become reality in
that's the
not
craziest
very
thing.
long from today.
It's scary because this was released 2022. This was only 5 years ago, and a lot of the stuff you read in here now, you're kind of going, wait a minute, is this fiction? this is, environmental collapse, humanity's search for like immortality and all the other things. Like, this is
AI
like now
taking over. There's a ton of context or pretext in this game that's actually scarily been the route that reality's taken. I do think that this game's got an excellent narrative and not just I really like that this narrative's got layers to it, layers upon layers of themes. As do the best narratives in video games. It's got layers and it's got themes, and this one's got layers of themes, which I really like. One thing that immediately I got pointed out to was the theme of mothers and daughters. Yeah, Catherine being the mother that's diagnosed and then succumbed to cancer is. Finally had her daughter Kay come home, which is another theme that this game employs a lot. What does home actually mean?
Oh yeah,
right?
And family itself. What does that actually mean?
Exactly, all of that, because Kay kind of abandoned her family, Catherine and Blaze, but when she came home, wherever that may be, her family's abandoned her.
No, it points a very realistic view on family and ties becoming dwindled, and it is very realistic because it really does deal with a lot of things of not everything on TV tells you forgive and forget and don't condemn and
the family sticks together, blood's thicker than water, everything will be fine at the end. That's not true.
No, exactly. Real life isn't that simple. I wish real life was that simple.
Oh yeah.
And this, like you said, it comes across this just a bizarre, not bizarre, but kind of real family dynamic that actually exists today.
Exactly. It's flawed.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
As a lot
it's
of flaws
not completely functional 100% of the time.
Yeah.
There are ups and there are massive downs, just like regular life, regular relationships. Not every there isn't a thing as a perfect family. Far from it.
Exactly right. And again, it does that storytelling very well. It comes across that it's kind of bleak. It's not one of those games I'd play if you were like having a bad day and then I'd pick this up because even the next person you meet, like Nick said earlier, kind of a prolific Santa Claus that's in the streets ringing his bell for Christmas cheer and asking for donations. And he's super aggressive with it, and then relatively threatens to kill you if you don't donate. And then I didn't donate because he was being an ass, so I donated to the beggar, and then the Santa Claus found out and he was threatening to murder me.
Whoa.
So I was like, whoa, this it's got a lot of sci-fi. It's got a lot of sci-fi elements in it that does the whole Blade Runner kind of everything's bleak, humanity's turning into a slow machine of just service and stuff like that. It's
I was looking at this and I immediately thought of one of my favorite settings or genres, which is Southern Gothic. I really like Southern Gothic. And this is Southern Gothic sci-fi, which is just taking it a step
that's true.
too deep. But then after some Googling, I was introduced to a term called plastic dystopia. Do you know what that is?
No. I can theorize.
Yeah.
Go on, give me the proper description. I can just imagine it's a dystopian future where everything is fundamentally ruled by plastic and made by plastic, or are we talking
almost, but it's a dystopian future ruled by trash. That's it. Trash. The oceans are filled with trash. Everything is industrial. The air everywhere is polluted. Everything's corporate, artificial, and most things are decaying. Think Mad Max. Think, Mad Max is just post-apocalyptic. Think Waterworld. I think that's a plastic dystopia.
That's a classic. There's actually an anime that just came out that actually does the same thing. Ooh. But I'm not going to remember the name of it because it's an anime that I can't remember now.
That's fine.
It's all about a dystopian city through people down out of the city, and the city below is all just trash. And
that's
mountains and
that's
mountains
plastic dystopia. Yeah. That's plastic dystopia.
I put the name life of me. I can't remember.
So I got introduced to that term by googling this game, and I think I like it a lot because isn't that just what the bottom half of Midgar is in Final Fantasy VII?
Oh yes, exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly exactly what it is. And strangely enough, I read a tidbit. He was actually the gentleman who made this game was inspired by Midgar in Final Fantasy VII in regards to doing some of this story. So yes, it's very much Shinra versus Avalanche by all accounts.
That makes complete sense. This is almost exactly what's going on here.
No, agreed. And it's got 3 different endings. Did you know that? Sorry.
No, I didn't know that.
Which is, again, in a story like this, the 3 endings, 2 of them are fairly bleak, and the other one is a little hopeful.
Okay.
There's a little bit of hope in it.
All
the
right.
other ones, again, I say bleak, like you said, it's real. It's kind of like a real ending, because not everything does work out in real life, and it kind of
fantastic. I think we need more of those. And another thing that I think this game employs of real life narratives as well, it doesn't tie up all the loose ends. It doesn't answer all of your questions. It leaves a lot of things obscured and ambiguous, which more pieces of media need to do. More pieces of media need to do that, right?
Agreed. No, you need. Like I said, we've discussed this before. Narrative-wise, it's games that leave you questioning things after you play it, compared to you knowing everything that happened in the game and every direction and outcome and stuff like that. Those ones, narratively, last. They have a
correct. They stick around in your brain.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And this one does that. This one is like I said, I for me, you need to play this game and then you need to play some Mario or something afterwards just to cheer you up a little bit more afterwards, though. Just
a feel good nothing game.
Yes,
not a nothing game, but a feel good game. Just so you're not hopeless.
Yeah, right. You don't want to go to sleep on this game, by all accounts. Like, you really don't.
No, you don't.
Again, we can't spoil put the spoilers in there because it gives up everything. But it is narratively definitely a high scoring aspect of this game. It's definitely worth a pickup.
Correct. I don't really have too much bad to say about the narrative.
Not really.
Maybe just the influence of it being a point and click can make it drag a slight bit, which makes it boring. But that's just because I'm a tired dad of 4. That could be one.
That is understandable. Hell, this game does make you tired. Just reading and clicking and then remembering where to go afterwards is relatively tiring.
Then reading some more once you get there.
That's right. There is nothing.
And if it's not a cat blasting off into space, I'm bored.
Hell yes, right? That cat bit was great. I love that cat bit. More on that in a minute. Okay, visuals. What did you think of this game?
I think this game looks unique and memorable, and in certain parts, it looks extremely human. I'll explain what I mean later. But also, at the same time, it looks visually flatter than it needs to be.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
Right?
I was wondering if that like flat type of artistry to it okay, maybe I'm just reading it. They made it a bit more bleak and less happy. I don't know if it's on purpose, because you can read into anything if that's the way you want to do it. Because I do know what you mean. There is, even as we mentioned before, Monkey Island games had a good depth to it in regards to walking to the forefront and the background.
Yes, because it used shadows.
Yes. This one is kind of like, it is Is this pixel art? It is fundamentally pixel art.
I'd
but
call
it's
this
almost
pixel
like
art.
it's
Yes,
blended
I would
slightly.
call this
it's
pixel
not
art.
sharp edges all the time.
No.
It's got some softness to it. But I do kind of get what you mean. But it is also, it just ties into the themes of being relatively, again, dystopian is used a lot. But it's oily, if you know what I mean, because they're surrounded by the oil refinery.
I think the word you're
stuff.
looking for is greasy.
Yeah, greasy.
This is greasy as hell. This game's
That's
greasy
true.
as hell.
Which I think was on purpose, or it was just a very remarkable coincidence because everything is muddy and wet.
It must have been on purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, Norco's filled with an oil rig. Of course, it looks like this.
Yeah, and surprisingly enough, I did actually look at pictures around Norco, the actual place, and they do have a striking resemblance to the game itself. He did use a lot of the actual horizon view from places around there, which is a bit disturbing.
Get what you mean. Get what you mean. Not the super industrialized.
No.
Okay.
Just
good.
Just like you said, like Midgar and Shinra.
Yeah, the plastic dystopian.
Yes, it has a very nice little town wrapped around a big industrial wrapper, by all accounts.
So,
which comes across visually.
I mentioned earlier that this game looks extremely human looking, which makes no sense because this is a pixel art game. What I meant by that is, in each conversation you have, or most conversations you have, each person has a portrait.
Yes, correct, yeah.
Like all other point-and-click games, and even the old Neverwinter games, there were portraits for the people you were speaking to. Same as in this game. But it's very clear that these portraits were just imperfectly made by real people.
Agreed, yes. I do know what you mean.
These portraits don't look right. It looked like someone was given an afternoon to make a portrait and they did two to save some time. And I think that, to me, personally, I find endearing. In an age where everything is just being fast-tracked by generative AI, I really like the fact that you can clearly see these portraits were done by imperfect humans.
Yeah, man-made, which is
exactly,
a weird...
Exactly, man-made, faults and all. And I find that endearing, especially in this age of generative AI.
What was the name of the robot? I know he had a cool name, but my mind is just literally going from me now.
Million.
The robot... Sorry?
Million,
that's his name. His face... I know this is all pixel art, but his face being kind of like a weird galaxy kind of like translucentness to it.
Yes. Really it's just cool like he looks like a universe of stars.
Yes. I thought that was very cool. I agree. They've even added to some of the portraits kind of like a creepiness to a lot of them because again,
like Santa.
Yes, like Santa, and the teddy bear you pick up, which was a very strange moment. That teddy bear you pick up was a really creepy ass teddy bear, even though he was kind of your friend to some degree.
He was your party member. He fought with you.
Yeah, but his face was relatively scary for
it was, again, and you had to beat him. What, you had to beat him in a staring contest?
Yes, that was awesome.
For him to join you. This game's surreal. This game is surreal.
There is some freaky stuff in this game. But yeah, it's got that same cyberpunk, like you said, Mad Max, Blade Runner, the future looking pretty bleak for this little town and the refinery controlling every aspect, be it the police.
Bleak's definitely the word. This game goes out of its way to make you remember that this is the future, but you do not want to be here.
Yeah, and it's got that, again, it had these weird little bits where you just see a tree. Like you'd see like nature trying to win out over the oil and stuff, but it'd be one tree outside of that, or like one flower on the bank of a pond that has been polluted. So there was a nice little bit of trying to advance, have the actual world play through, but just slightly being demolished by the core premise that was around.
Yeah, you could clearly see some visual storytelling going on, which is my favorite type of storytelling.
Yeah,
but
agreed.
I still think the environment feels flat, which you made a great point earlier in suggesting that might be the point. This game might be looking intentionally ugly.
Yes, I think it's, and again, it's some of it is you switch between characters, right? So going back to be the mother, some of it is a memory, a time warp And I think maybe that's because it's supposed to be a memory. It could be a bit blurry and a bit... But I might be reading into things. Maybe he just... Again, he wasn't actually an artist, the guy who did a lot of these things. So a lot of it is... He even admitted he learnt online and stuff like that. So some of it is, like you said, it's just because it's man-made. It actually took him time, and he tried, and it didn't all work out, but he put it in there anyway.
That
which is to be awarded, right? It's going to be
That's
awarded.
great. Oh, I like that.
Agreed.
See, that's the type of stories that we like to showcase on the Indy 500.
Oh yes, I forgot. We forgot to say that part. Our favourite part of our list giving.
We forget this every single episode.
Oh no, it's true. It's true. We really do.
Okay.
Anything else visually, or should we go to audio?
Audio.
Mr. Audio man.
So, I think it had good music. The music was good. What I liked more than the music was the ambience.
Yeah, got you.
I think this game had good... No, not good ambience, great ambience. The music was good. I wouldn't say nothing necessarily revolutionary, except when you open up Kay's map.
Oh, yeah.
And you get that trumpet just
that's true.
blasting 2 notes. I don't know why that hit me as much as it did.
Well,
it had me
right? you love,
hypnotized.
Nick loves a good trumpet, a good trombone, a good French horn.
Oh, yeah. Just give me a brass instrument and I'm happy.
Right. He's a brass man. I looked at the music list and I found a new term of music that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
Do you know what the music is called in this game? It's sludge metal. I thought that is such a cool name for
sludge metal.
It's called sludge metal, which I thought that's so apt. That's exactly how I would describe the music in this game.
You're right. That is exactly the term I'd use for the music of this game. Sludge metal.
Isn't that great? I love that. I love, I said, the things you find out new. And another fun little aspect of it is that they actually did send, because the gentleman lived in this town or lived near this town, he actually sent people, some sound developers and stuff, and they actually went around Norco and recorded sounds around the swamps.
I read the same thing, that the ambience sometimes that you're hearing is real recorded ambience from the real Norco.
Yeah, there's nothing better than adding a bit of actual...
Damn, isn't that just so cool?
Right? Yeah,
that's another reason why I think this ambience might be the strongest part of the audio design for me. There are surprisingly large sections that you go throughout this game with zero music.
Very true, very true.
It could just be the ambience from an open field, and then you go into a busy street, and then you go into a populated bar, people chattering, people walking around outside, and it's all just ambience, and it's done really, really, really well. I think ambience might be my favorite part of the audio for this game. I can tell you what's my least favorite part of the audio for this game.
No voice acting.
No voice acting.
I thought that was good. It sounds like you were getting sleepy, but which granted. It's
no voice acting. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's none. Because we always have this debate, because we say, well, voice acting is expensive, and then we say there are literal thousands of young voice actors that would have done this for free. You could have said, we did a voice in a new game, would you mind doing some lines? And they would have sent you stuff instantly.
Hey, you know what? You, creator, you could have done this. You could have added your voice.
Yeah, it is so tough, because you see his argument, oh no, I was making this like the old games of, of LucasArts and stuff.
Yeah, and it just had that MIDI bleeps.
That's right. Yeah, I do get it. We do live in a world where we're so spoilt with voice acting now. Games without it, particularly ones that could be so elevated by such good voice acting. There were so many scenes in this that could have been just blown away by people trying to do them.
Scenes in this game that needed voice acting.
That's true.
There were some really big reveals in the narrative for this, and then you just had the text box at the bottom. Bleep, blop, blop, blop.
It is unfortunate, isn't it? It's a very weird thing of its time, where we grew up with these games. We loved these games. Final Fantasy VII was all text. I read that thing again and again and again. But now we have, again, voice acting has come so far as well. we look at games and we play these games and just think, just think what this could have been.
Exactly.
If just somebody put some nuance in that voice, or was dramatic or sad or drunk and all the other things.
Because there are some
across.
great scenes. There was a scene when I was playing with Catherine that completely caught me off guard. I was sitting at my desk with my mouth hung open, and I thought, whoa! And then a couple of seconds silence, and then beep blop 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 blop.
Yeah, what?
Destroyed the moment.
Oh, shame. Yeah, I think I know the bit you're talking about, but we can't spoiler.
No, we can't. Accounts. Yes, yeah. We're thinking about the same bit, but no, we can't spoil that. Go play Norco if you're interested.
Yes, by all means, it's a great bit. You need to listen. It's the bit with the blip 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 blips happen after the big reveal. You'll know it instantly.
Exactly.
Anything else audio-wise, or should we go to gameplay? The less fleshed out part of this review.
No, we usually have some sound design as well, but this game had very minimal sound design.
Very little sound design, yeah, by all accounts, because you're just clicking on things and going.
Exactly,
and
that really is it. The music is good, the ambience is excellent, the voice acting is missing sorely. That's it.
That's about it. Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Okay, gameplay. Point and click adventure. This gameplay has to be insane, right?
This is gotta be. Come on, this is. Okay, you know what? There's the same sentence that can be used for both sides of the argument.
Yeah.
Pros: this is a point and click adventure. Cons:
true.
This is a point and click adventure.
Yeah, I'll give it a little of the pros in regards to, like you said, there's a few scenes where you play like a turn-based fighting game. Where
correct.
One of the scenes, if you attack using the teddy bear, you got to time your attack to hit the rings, and then
like
if you
a
attack
DDR type thing.
Yeah, and then you attack when yourself, you have to play the pages in the right order to attack properly.
Yep.
So there's smutterings of depth.
I don't know. I did that twice, and I played for a couple of hours.
Yeah, and by all accounts, you can actually switch that on to auto anyway, so it doesn't really change. I've genuinely, I was stuck in this game because I didn't want to beat up the bum outside the petrol station. I thought this seemed like the wrong way to start the game by just beating up some unemployed.
No,
no.
This is Norco. This is just how things go down.
That's right. You need to think more dark and bleak compared to just like plain exploration. There is a lot to clicks and exploring. You do kind of have to you first look at everything, so it gives you a description of it. Then you open the drawer, and then you find the thing, and then you look at the thing inside the drawer. There is a great cat that blasts off into space. That was thrilling because
it was. You but again, that's
it's such a weird bit.
It's great. It's weird. It's good. I loved it. And then afterwards you get scolded. But that is the one fun thing. And then it's another 20 minutes of clicking and reading.
I almost gave up because I was annoying the shop clerk too much, and I was like, okay, maybe I should stop playing with the cat. But then when I finished playing with the cat, I was delighted by what happened next. I wasn't seeing that coming, I must admit.
Same.
And there's some inventory-based puzzles, like all click and point adventures, but they're all kind of fairly simplistic. It's not like the mind-numbing Monkey Island types of one where you have to collect the monkey to turn the screw to climb the tree and stuff like that. It's fairly.
Oh yeah, it's not so unhinged and obscure like Monkey Island games.
Yes, exactly. But again, you're not playing these games for the gameplay. You are playing it for the narrative and the feel of it, and it does that well.
Yeah, this game is primarily just clicking around, talking to people, examining things, and moving between locations to progress the narrative. That is, and you're not playing for the narrative. I don't know. It's like the line between this and an interactive novel is very thin sometimes.
I was literally going to say the same thing.
Ooh!
I was literally going to say,
that's why we're synced. That's why you listen to Critical Arcade.
That's right. Is this a visual novel, or is this more than, because you get to? No, this is a visual novel.
It's starting to turn into a grey area.
Yeah, because Monkey Island, you had the character, you moved from A to B. Same with Day of the Tentacle, and same with Sam and Max and stuff. Here, you are just screens, right? You are just. Like I said, it's getting too blurred. I don't know if there's actually a point and click anymore.
If it wasn't for the very, 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 very few combat sections, this would have been just an interactive novel. True. It really would have been. Weird.
Yeah, those lines are getting very blurred.
I think I even mentioned later in the review, why couldn't this just have been a book?
Yes, I think so too. It was. Wait a minute. It was originally a documentary.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember reading it up. I just remembered I didn't write that down. It was originally going to be a documentary about Norco that was going to be filmed like a short film, like a camcorder type job in regards to it. And then they changed it up to be a video game so it could be more interactive because video games were, of course, kind of gaining more traction over...
This is slightly more interactive than a documentary,
but I guess. But it is only ever so slightly. You're right. If this was on TV or like a good book in some regards, you get the same out of it.
Mm-hmm. Ladies and gents, please don't think that we're dunking on this game. We're not. The narrative is... I'm of the opinion the narrative is really good, but the gameplay really isn't.
Yeah. We came to something. I come to the same thing. I think to myself, if you put this in front of a 15-year-old, 16-year-old teenager and said, play this, would they get through it?
No.
But
in this case, absolutely not.
That's what I mean. And I know. How to review games now for us old gen? Yes, we'd get through it because we had games like it. If you got a generation that have never played games like it, is this the equivalent of putting like an encyclopedia in front of someone and being like, "Oh, this is fun." I enjoy it. The narrative, like you said, is good. Everyone should play this.
You know what? It's interesting, but interesting doesn't equal fun.
No, very true. That is very true. Yeah. I do agree.
I think the biggest comparison I've seen online for this is people comparing this to Disco Elysium.
Yes, that's true.
How much of Disco Elysium have you played?
Oh, I played quite a lot. I'd say
same.
3/4 of the way. I'd say.
Whoa! I think I've gotten halfway.
It's a surprisingly long game, Disco Elysium.
It is very, very long game. People are comparing this to Norco for extremely superficial and skin deep reasons. This looks like a plastic dystopia southern state game or whatever, and there's a lot of reading, so it must be like Disco Elysium.
Is that the comparison?
Yes. That could not be further from the truth.
Very true, very true. First of all, Disco Elysium is an amazing game. I love that game. That game is
and it's got some deep RPG
elements. Oh, massive.
Huge RPG elements. Dice rolls, character stats, skills, builds.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
There are systems that you interact with in Disco Elysium.
This game, again, it's so mean compared to Disco Elysium, by all accounts. I saw some comparatives to Beneath Still Sky, which I don't know if you know that one.
I know of it. I've never played it.
No, it kind of did go under a lot of radars, fundamentally. It's actually not that bad. And there was actually a Blade Runner point and click, which is actually fairly good compared to. But sadly, I mentioned those two games, and I lean to you should play those games over this one. That's the only thing that slightly bugs me, is that this is good, but it's not great. And those games are fundamentally great, that you should play.
I get you.
Anything else gameplay we really miss, but point and click is the fundamental aspect of
it really is. You are just pointing and you are clicking. I think you could even call this a point click and reading game.
Yeah, I think the line is very much tilting towards the visual novel, which it is what it is. If you see that as a game, by all means. If you don't,
performance,
so be it. Fine. It's not a big game. It didn't really have any problems for me. I didn't see
it's solid.
Lagging. I don't really expect much to go wrong in a game.
I didn't have any major technical problems or noticeable frame drops or glitches. No performance frustrations on my end. The game ran smoothly.
Same.
And that's kind of exactly what you want to happen.
Yeah, and it would be a bit odd if it didn't, really.
Exactly.
So value for money, what did you think?
My argument for value for money is usually to lean towards quality instead of quantity. You can buy a game and you can play it for 100 hours, and those are going to be some fun 100 hours. Looking at stuff like Ghost Recon Wildlands, Looking at Assassin's Creed Shadows. Well, those are going to be some fine 100 hours. Nice, you had a fine time. But I usually lean towards that same price point for a much shorter and more impactful experience.
Yeah, I understand.
Which this game, I've not completely decided if it fits the bill. Because this game is $15 and you can complete it in about 6 hours, 7 hours.
Well, I was surprised. Yeah, Steam, it's $15. Good Old Games had it at $2.50, which is... I know. Epic had it at $6, and then PlayStation Network and Xbox had it at $12. So I think we see the clear winner there would be to go to Good Old Games for it.
Yeah.
But agreed.
I was going to add, don't pay $15 for this.
Yes, $15 was a really weird price on Steam. That was a really, a lot of money for this game. And it's 5 years old. Was it 5 years old? Yeah, 2022. I thought I was shocked at Steam's price on that.
Same. I do have a question for you though.
Go on.
How much should a game cost, or what should the pricing structure for a game be, if the primary thing you're buying the game for is its story?
Ooh, that's a complex one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. What's the like?
Let's say like your Danganronpas.
Yeah. Oh, it's true. I do like a Danganronpa. See, we've said this before. Anytime it's an indie game, we got a special little soft spot for it. So we want them to make money because they're where we want our money to go to.
Please don't misconstrue what I'm saying here. I want who made this. What was it? Geography for Robots?
Yeah, that's right.
I want them to stick around, and I want them to make more games.
Agreed. I'd say $15 for like the brand new experience isn't that crazy right now. Look at Silk Song came out at 20 and everybody purchased it. I'm trying to think of something that.
But if it's just for the story, though,
I'm trying to think that.
Let's say Expedition 33 had horrendous gameplay.
That's such a hard comparison because
I
game
know.
Even if you took the gameplay out of it, that's such a pretty game, and the music is amazing.
Because gameplay and interactive segments is such a concept that's baked into video games.
Yes, very,
right.
Very true.
Without those, is it even still a video game?
That's right. I am desperately trying to think what game came out that was just pure narrative that you were going through the walking simulator type things.
Dear Esther.
I was thinking things like Dear Esther. What was that?
What Remains of Edith Finch? Everyone's Gone to the Rapture. The Invincible.
Yeah, you're right. Those were all actually fairly decent. I don't...
Because those are walking simulators.
It's such a hard question because games coming out at $80 now, so the entry gate for things are so... It's so hard to know what a good price for them. I don't know. For this game, I would go to the $2.50.
I would also go to the $2.50, but I'd be willing to say that if this looks intriguing to you, I'd go for anything $10 and under.
Yeah, I think that seems fair. I think that's right. a good price for this. And again, it's only 5 to 6 hours, and even the different endings, they only change for like one of the decisions you make later on in the game.
It's so you can just save beforehand.
Yeah, you can. You can save state before it and then do the endings, which is a bit sadder. So it's only really one playthrough type of game. So yeah, I'd agree. $10 or below, I suppose, for a game, especially if it's 5 years old.
Yeah, but if this was a book, though, with a nice cover, I mean, I can see how you could potentially pay more.
Or if this would scream a comic book or like a visual novel type thing.
It could be, it could be those. It could be
so
those.
Not too bad then. So what, after everything's said and done, what did we score this bad boy of a game, indie darling, so to speak?
So for this indie game, Norco, we gave it the letter grade rating of C. I think that's a very respectable score for a game that's made by an extremely limited amount of people. Is this made by one person or like...
It was fundamentally made... Well, sound and stuff was made by a couple of artists, did the music to it, but the game itself, the visuals, the game and the story was made by one fella.
That's still great. That's still such a great...
He got so famous, he became a recluse to some degree. because
just because of Norco?
Yeah, he didn't like all the limelight, so he kind of like stopped gaming and making games for a while, which was a bit sad. But a C grade's a great grade. It's the same grade.
Yes, a C grade is good.
Code Vein 2, Screamer, that car game we gave a C. So yeah, it's...
I think if it's anything D and below, maybe don't. But C is still an okay game. You should check it out. If you like the narrative point-and-click games, maybe you could do without systems or whatever, please check out Norco.
And if you want a eerily, potentially close future we're slowly slipping into, and you want to prepare yourself, maybe, if you live anywhere near AI data centers or oil refineries, it might hit a little too close to home. But it is a good story. People should pick it up. People should read it.
I think the narrative is good.
It's hard to denote. But yeah, I think it's a good game.
Dave,
you should give it a go. Yeah.
Before we sign off, what have we got lined up for next week?
Next week... Again, I'm excited by next week's game because I'm a big JRPG type game. But I always say this game wrong. So it's always, I'm open to ridicule now. And I've asked Nick many times, have you said this? And he's told me, and I always forget. Because it's Weiss.
Wow.
What is it? What is it?
Ease.
It's Ease. It's YS, ladies and gentlemen. It's YS.
Yes, it's just the letters Y and then S. Yes. I've also just lit this from YouTube videos online, but it's Ease. And it's the Ease 1 and 2... repackage? Right? I don't know.
Yeah, the original. What was it? East. I can't remember what you said.
Yeah,
now.
East 1 and East 2 released on the ancient ago. PCs.
Yes, a long time ago. So we're playing the more modern versions, which is great because I think I've only ever played one of them once, and I think there's like 12 of them, so I don't know which one I've ever actually even played. So I look forward to playing the first and the second one as a bundle.
That's right.
Good time.
Tune in next week to hear how that goes. We'll see you then. Cheers.
Cheers.